everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, welcome. Thank you all so much for joining me today. So in today's video, I'm going to be doing a full face of nothing new. This is all products from my everyday makeup drawers and in my current collection. Not a single thing in here is new. These are all products that I've used many times, and because of that I can give you great reviews on each of the products that I'm going to use today. And this is the look that I came up with. Just a nice neutral fall look, a little bit of chocolate brown on the outer V, and I've got a combination of cream and powder products on the face. I've got a foundation that I've been using that I really love. So let's get right into the video. All right, everyone, I'm back and I've got my hair pulled back and I've got my skincare on, and now I'm ready to begin today's video. So as I said in the intro, I have got this bucket of products that I have had in my collection for a long time. I know how I feel about these. I love all of these. These are some of my holy grails, and some of them are newer to my collection but still have been used a number of times, so I know how I feel about those as well. Let's get started. I want to start with the eyes. So I'm going to start with the brows, and there are 4 brow products that I use quite a bit. Two of these are my holy grail, and 2 of them I use interchangeably. I'm first going to start off with my brush here with the spoolie. Then, as I mentioned, my holy grail brow product right now is the Benefit Precisely My Brow. I love this brow pencil. It has a super fine tip, and you just can't go wrong. I like to outline the brows first and then fill them in with this. So that's what I'm going to do right now. Now you notice on this eye, my brow is starts a little bit more in than it should. Technically, my brow should start right where I drew that line. So that's where I'm going to begin. I'm just going to line the underneath, and then the top. And now I'm just going to fill this in, leaving the head of the brow, the beginning of the brow here, quite light. And I'll show you why in a minute. Now, when I'm just running a few errands and I want to throw on just a minimal amount of makeup, this is the brow pencil that I use. I find it super precise, and it really does a good job of filling in my brows. I'm just going to take the spoolie side and just blend it upward. Just get everything blended out. And then the next product I go into is also from Benefit. This is the Brow Microfilling Pen. I used to have the Urban Decay Brow Blade, and I was too impatient with that. It's one single point, and you've got to go in there and draw several lines. With this is a 3-pronged brow pen, and I like this better because it covers more geography, shall we say. It covers more of the brow in less time, and I'm a very impatient girl. So I hold it with the highest point on the left and the lowest point on the right, and I just start where my brow should begin, and I just kind of, flick up just in the beginning there and draw in like these hair-like strokes, like so. And then as I go along, I just kind of fill in. And then I kind of turn it a bit as I do the tail of the brow. So there you go. There's the brow. So then what I do is I use my Holy Grail brow gel. So this brow gel is, I would say it's new to my collection within the last 3 months, 4 months, but I have used it nonstop. And this is the Nyx The Brow Glue. This stuff is amazing. I love this very much. In fact, I love it so much I ordered 2 more backups because I go through this quite frequently, and I just love this. It really does a nice job of setting the brow. So that way the hairs all sort of stay in line. And when it dries, it is not crunchy at all, not at all. Then I go in with my Benefit Highbrow Glow, and I'll show you what this looks like. Oh, mine needs to be sharpened. So what I do with this is I just carve underneath the brow. And I like it because it has that bit of shimmer to it. So that way you don't need to put a shimmery shade under the brow when you're doing your eyes. And I carry it down almost to the crease. And then I take this same brush using the slanted end, and I just take it and I just blend it a little bit in so it's not so harsh, like so. So that's the brows. I'm gonna go do the other one off camera and then I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm back. Both the brows are done. Let's move on to the eyes. So what I'm going to use right now is my Nars Tinted Smudgeproof Shadow Base. I love this stuff. It goes on. I like that it's tinted because then it hides any darkness on your lids. It allows your shadow to last a long time. And this is the one I seem to reach for constantly. So I'm just going to put a little on each lid. And then I have my Makeup by Mario brush here. One side is the foundation and the other side is technically for concealer. But I use this side to blend in the shadow primer. And I bring it up almost as far as the brow. And this brush does such a good job of blending that in. Okay. And I'm going to use that to blend my foundation in a little bit. Okay. Now, the shadow. This I did, I want to say back in April, I did a haul from the cosmetics company store. I have one here. I live in New England, and there's one here in Kittery, Maine. And I went in and I purchased 4 things from the cosmetic company store. This is one of the items I purchased. This is the Estee Lauder First Blossom Pure Color Envy Shadow Palette. And this is what it looks like. Whoops. It comes with a little double-ended thing. I don't use this. This is a sponge tip applicator, and this is sort of a flat shader. This one's not bad for using as a flat shader, but I don't use the sponge tip. And so those are the shades right there. They're just pretty real neutrals. And that's what I love about this. Today I'm going to do a neutral look on the eye with some of this nice dark brown in the outer V, and then we'll move on from there. So let's get started on that. So right away, I'm going to take a nice fluffy brush. This one is the Farrah 35E, and it's a wider base, and it's very fluffy. And I'm going to pick up this matte camel shade right there, and I'm going to dust that and use that as my transition shade. And I like this brush for this purpose because it really covers the lid and dispenses the shadow quite evenly. And so basically that not only acts as a transition shade, it also sets the shadow primer. I know some people like to go straight in with their mid-tone shade right over the primer, but in my experience, it skips. And I want to have a nice smooth looking, shadow. And so I find that shadows just blend better over powder products. So there's the transition shade. Then I'm going to take this brush here. This is the Morphe. This was in a 5-piece eye brush set. And this is just a fluffy crease brush. It's similar to the Farrah brush, but you can see the difference in the sizes. How this one is smaller and not as wide. And this one is much more fluffier. So we're going to go in with this one. And I'm going to take a little of that brown. And then I'm going to mix it. I'm just taking a little of the brown, tapping off the excess, and then picking up some of that camel and tapping off the excess. Because I don't have a medium toned shade in there that I can use on the crease to darken the crease. And I'm just going to apply this and just darken that crease a little bit. Yeah, see, that does it very nicely. See, I like how that works. See, now you see just that mid-tone shade there. And then I'm going in with this brush. This is an Ulta crease brush, but this is shorter. You can see the difference now between these two. This is definitely shorter bristled and it's a little denser. And that's because I want to apply that dark shade, that beautiful chocolatey brown on the outer V. So I'm going to pick up some of that. Always dust off the excess. And then I'm just going to sort of plant it right in this area here. And then use circular motions and darken that crease further. And then I'm going to bring it down. I love these shadows. This was probably a spring special from Estee Lauder last year, but I love these shadows. And I just want to bring a little of that down along the outer lash line. Yeah, look at that. That's nice. I'm gonna take my Farrah brush here, the one that I used for the transition shade, and just gonna blend that right out and make sure there's no harsh lines. There you go. See how pretty that is. Okay, I'm gonna finish off this eye with the shadow and then we'll be right back. So now what I want to do is go in and put a beautiful shimmery shadow on the lid. And I really want to use this gorgeous pink right here. And this is the Luxie Small Shader Brush. I love this brush. So I'm going to pick it up. I'm going to put it on dry at first. And sometimes I foil it if I want a little more pizzazz. Today, though, I'm not going to do that. I'll show you what I'm going to do instead. So I'm just going to apply this in the crease. Just to get a good base shadow in there. And I'm going to blend it right up here. Because I have a hooded eye, I like the darkest point up a little high, the darkest area up a little higher. So as a result, I have to bring that shimmer shade up just a little higher as well. That's pretty. Okay, now what I'm going to do on top of that shade is I'm going to use a liquid eyeshadow. And I'm going to use this same brush to really get in that inner corner and blend it out. This is from Haus Labs, which is, of course, Lady Gaga's brand. This is her, let's see if I can read this. Liquid Shimmer Powder. It's called Glam Attack Liquid Shimmer Powder in the shade Angel Baby. And I'll swatch this for you so you can see what this looks like. It is the prettiest pink shimmery shade. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this and put it on the lid like so. Then I'm going to take my flat shader brush, the Luxie Small Shader, and just blend that a bit. I think it just takes that up a notch. All right, I do have some fallout from the shadow. That's to be expected. I have a champagne one, I have like a beautiful baby blue one, and I have this one here. Okay, so that's it for the top, for the shadow on the top. Now what I want to do is go in and use some mascara. And the mascara that I have been using is from Item Beauty. It's the Lash Snack, and it is the Lengthening Mascara. I have fallen in love with this mascara. It does add length, which I love, but I especially love this brush. Now take a look, and I've hauled this before on my channel, but look at how small that brush is. That is perfect for someone who has small eyes. So I'm just going to apply a couple of coats of this on the top lashes. Okay, I'm back. I have my mascara on. I discovered this through, I believe, BoxyCharm. And I'm very glad to have this in my collection. I will repurchase this one. Okay, so now let's go on to the face. I'm just going to take a wipe and I'm going to just clean up the fallout under the eyes, because that's why I like to do the eyes first, because any shadow that there's fallout, then you can clean it up very easily. Let's move on to the face. So as I said earlier in the video, my skincare is done. Now I want to go on to primer and foundation. So the primer that I pulled out of my everyday makeup drawer to use is one I've used quite a bit and one I really like. This is the Nyx Marshmallow Primer. And I just love this primer. I'm going to pump a little out on the back of my hand. And you can see it's just got the faintest pink color to it. And the reason why I like this is not only does it keep your makeup on longer, but it really kind of blurs your pores. I just rub it in my hands. And it smells like toasted marshmallows. Oh my gosh, I just love this. And I even let a little of that go down on my neck because I do tend to blend the foundation on my neck a little bit too, just to make sure there's no harsh lines in case it's not perfect. Okay, that's the primer. It's such a good primer. There's enough hydration in there so that my dry skin doesn't feel parched. And then on top of that, it blurs out your pores. Love that primer so much. Okay, let's move on to foundation. So for foundation today, I have the Believe Beauty. I use this a lot, I have to say. This is a Believe Beauty Skin Finish Foundation. Love this foundation. I have many foundations that I love, I will say, but this is one of my favorites right here. It has a medium coverage, and it blends so well into the skin. It hides a lot of imperfections. I do have some brown sunspots I'm working on trying to minimize and get rid of, but you know, it does cover the lighter ones really well. So that's the foundation I'm going to use today. I'm just going to sort of dot it on the face. Okay, and then I'm going to use that same Makeup by Mario brush that I showed you earlier. This time I'm going to use this section here, and I'm just going to, just in a downward motion, blend this right into the skin. See how it's just hiding those little minor imperfections. Don't forget your ears if you're pulling your hair back. I'll be bringing my hair down for the final look, but and this brush just blends everything so well. Now I have my sponge here from $1 Billion Brows, and this is just a nice, squishy, soft sponge. It's about half that size when it's dry, and now it's wet. And I'm just going to kind of go over and just blend in, make sure there's no, you know, lines of demarcation. Everything is blended well. And then I'm going to take just whatever I have on the back of my hand, pick it up with my sponge, and just go over some of these areas here that have a bit darker. Let's move on to concealer. So for today, I'm using my number 7 Lift and Illuminate Serum Concealer. I would say this is more of a medium coverage concealer. I don't have a lot of darkness, but I have a little bit of purple in here and right on this inner portion of the eye. So I'm going to just grab some of that. Just put a little bit in here. And then I'm just going to put some right here, going in sort of in an upward motion. I like that step because what it tends to do is it lifts the face, I think, a little bit. And I'm going to use the other side of that brush that I used for the shadow primer. I'm going to use this also to blend in the concealer. So you can see it's got a nice medium coverage. What I love about it is that it has that serum in there. So it really does not emphasize any of the lines under your eyes. So, okay, now I want to move on to some cream products. I have had these Charlotte Tilbury wands in my collection for a very long time. The contour wand, I love the shade on this because it's dark, and when you use it, you're like, oh my gosh, this is too dark, but it blends in so well. So I'm going to use this today, and it has this little sort of sponge on the end. So I'm going to start from up here, like so. And then I'm going to take the same Makeup Mario brush, and then I'm just, with the patting motion, I'm just going to blend that in. Do you see how that's blending right out? It looked so incredibly dark, but look at how that's blending right out. Look at that. You see that? Moving on, I have the blush. This is the Beauty Light Wand in High Blush in Pinkgasm. Oh, somehow I got a lot of it there. All right, and then I'm just going to put it here. Again, using that same Makeup Mario brush because it does such a great job blending everything in so well. And I like to do a little bit of blush draping here, because I really think it kind of lifts the face a little bit. Look at how beautifully that blends in. This, I think, is a combination of the formula and then this brush. Every time I pull this out of my collection, I remember why I love it so much. The color. Look at that. Look at how beautiful. Just love that. And then I'm going to use the highlighter wand as well. This is the Beauty Light Wand Easy Highlighter, and this is in Pillow Talk. Squeeze a little out. And this is a tad bit dark for me, but I just put a little bit of it right on the top of my cheekbones like that. And I'm using the small side of that brush, and I'm just blending that on this side. you know, for a dark shade, look at how nice that looks. All right, and then I'm just going to use my fingers just to show you how versatile this is. And what I love about all three of these is it doesn't pick up your foundation at all. It doesn't disturb what you've done before with your foundation and your concealer. See, that to me is so beautiful. Love that. Okay, now that we've got that all done, let's move on to some powder. So I'm going to be using today my number 7 Lift and Illuminate Triple Action Translucent Finishing Powder. And this is what that looks like. I have this brush here. This is the Luxie Tapered Highlighter Brush. I don't use this for highlighter. I use this for dusting powder under the eyes. So I'm just going to pick some of that up on here. And what I love about this powder is how it beautifully sets under the eyes. And then going in with my big powder brush. This is from Ulta. I love this brush. It is so fluffy, and it just applies the powder on the rest of the face so well. Look at how natural, how beautiful that looks. Look at that. You know, I would be happy just going out the door like that. What I love about that powder is it doesn't make the under eyes look crepey at all. I mean, my under eyes are looking so smooth. Look at that. Okay, let's move on to some powder products. And I have 3 here. And believe it or not, they're all from Essence. So the first one I'm going to pick up is my Sun Club Matte Bronzing Powder. This is not been in my collection all that long, maybe a month. And I love this. This is the Sun Club Matte Bronzing Powder. This is for lighter skin in the shade 01 Natural. And that's what that looks like. I think it's a great bronzer for light skin. And this is another Ulta brush. This is the Ulta Bronzing Brush. Love this brush as well. So just going to pick up some of that bronzer and then just dust it on the cheeks, kind of warm everything up. And then I like to get it up in here. And then I have sort of this area right up on either side here that's where the hair is receding just a little bit. And I like to get up in there and just kind of dust it in those areas to sort of hide that. And then a little down on the chin sometimes. Okay, there's the bronzer. Then for blush, I have the Essence Satin Touch Blush. Now, I can't find this in-store anywhere. When I want to order a backup of this, I have to order it from the Essence website. And this is in the shade Satin Love, number 20. And as you can see, it's just that perfect blend of pink and nude. So I'm just going to pick up a little of that. And then just dust a little bit on there. I like it that the shade is not, you know, too dark, because one thing I don't like is clown cheeks. And then I'm going to take my big powder brush and just kind of, you know, make sure that that's all blended in. And then for highlighter, I've got the Essence Pure Nude highlighter in the shade Be My Space Light. So I'm going to take my Complex Culture All Over Highlighter powder brush. It's just a small little powder brush. And I'm going to pick some of that up and just right over where the cream highlighter is. And just lighten that up a little bit. I love that highlighter. Okay, so the face is done. Now that the face is done, I want to finish under the eyes. So I've got this brush here. This is from Ulta, and this is just a very short, stiff smudger brush, basically. So I'm going to go back into my palette, and I'm going to pick up the, I'm going to do what I did, you know, to darken the outer crease. I'm going to pick up a little of the brown and then a little of the camel. And I'm just going to bring it right underneath here. And then I'm going to pick up a little of just the brown, and I'm just going to darken that outer corner. And I want to make sure to connect it to the dark shade in my outer V. And then whatever's left on the brush, just going to dust underneath. I'm just going to put a little mascara on my lower lashes, and then we'll move on to the lips. Okay, so that's the eyes that are done. The face is done. Let's move on to the lips. So for lip products, I have pulled out these three. This lip liner is from Dominique Cosmetics. It is in the shade, it doesn't say. Oh, it's the Creamy Fill and Define Lip Liner in Crush. And it's this beautiful, perfect nude, like so. And I'm just going to line my lips. What I like about it is it has this sort of like triangular shape, because it really makes it easy to get the Cupid's bow. And it's super creamy. Okay. And I like to just, on the sides here, just fill it in. Okay. And then I take my finger and I just blend. All right, for lipstick, I have this from Revlon. This has been in my collection for probably a year. So this is what that looks like. It's called Untold Stories, and it's a matte shade. I'll swatch it for you so you can see. It is just that perfect pinky nude. So I'm just going to apply this. Perfect. Look at how pretty that is. Love, love, love that shade. And because I like a little bit of a gloss on top, I pulled this one out. This is from Morphe, and this is their, doesn't say, but it's probably just their lip gloss in the shade Attention, and it's got a little bit of a light pinky hue to it. And I'm just going to put a little of this on top. All right, so there you go. There's the makeup look. I'm going to go and pull my hair down and fix my hair, and I will be right back. I'm back. I took my hair down. I just gave it a little spritz of some curl defining spray, and that is the finished look. So I hope you enjoyed today's video, a full face of nothing new. Some real holy grail products I have in my collection that I use a lot, and I was able to give you some really good reviews of everything in that I used today. If you enjoyed this video or if it was helpful, please give it a thumbs up. That would really help out my channel and I would really appreciate it. Also, if you haven't subscribed already, please hit the subscribe button down below and don't forget to hit the notification bell so that way you're advised of all my future uploads. I thank you so much for watching today's video and I will see you in my next one. Bye.